today we get into arguably one of the most important movements, and that's going to be what's called pelvic tilt. All right, so our pelvic tilt is super important because it allows us to understand how the body moves in space and how we can brace this core. All right, so without understanding what our pelvis does, basically with each movement, we're gonna have a hard time bracing the core in all of the movements that we do. So we have to understand how our pelvis moves. So talking about your pelvis is what I want you to do. I want you to find the bones here, right on the outside part of your hip. All right, we're gonna kind of use that as our guide today. Our pelvis can be seen as a bucket. All right, so if our pelvis rotates forward, this bucket rotates down and water is gonna pour out the front. If my pelvis rotates backwards, the water is going to pour out the back. All right, so with your pelvis, it can kind of be seen, depending on your ability, you can rotate forward, back, forward, and back. Now, the reason that this is important is because a lot of people are going to be into anterior tilt. So they're going to be into this position here. Now, when I'm in this position here, now I've created this massive arc in my spine, and those vertebrae are rubbing on each other, and now I've put myself into a compromised, uncomfortable position. A lot of times individuals will also find themselves into anterior tilt when they feel like they've been kind of slouching throughout the day. So they're walking around and maybe they're noticing that they're just slouched and their back's in a little bit of pain. So what they do is they extend here, but what they've done is they've actually put themselves into anterior tilt. All right, so again, causing that pain in the back. We don't typically see it, but sometimes there might be individuals into posterior tilt, which is going to be this position here. So if someone's walking around like this, again, we don't typically see it, but that's what that posterior tilt is going to be. All right, so today we're going to focus on finding neutral in a standing position. So again, I want you to find the bones here on the outside part of your hip. You're going to put your thumbs right above your butt cheeks, okay? That's going to be the top of your bucket. And what we're going to do is we're going to rotate our bucket forward. All right, so again, that water goes out the front. We're going to rotate it backwards. The water goes out the back. Forward. Back. I want you to rotate it as far forward as you can right here. So you got this big pull. You might even feel some tension in your lower back. And then you're going to rotate halfway back. Now when you rotate halfway back, you're going to feel the abdominals start to clench and start to contract. You are now able to put yourself into a braced position. So now I can perform things such as a squat, or I can press overhead. All right? Our pelvis is super important in creating a braced core, maintaining the tension so that we can do each and every other movement properly. So again, try and find a neutral core with every move that you do. If you notice that you've got some back pain throughout the day, go through that sequence. Rotate forward, rotate back, forward, back, as far forward as you can, and then rotate halfway back. It's going to brace your core, it's going to take pressure off of your lower back. Give it a try and let us know if you have any questions, because this one is a bit tricky.